We got a new live stream from McFarlane Toys today. Tons of products showing off all kinds of great Superman merchandise. Not biting until I see the movie, but it looks good. They also had some really strong reveals from the DC Multiverse line, including two figures that I think come the end of this year are definitely going to be in the running for my favorites of the year. And I already know we've got some hits from McFarlane, but these two are going to quickly work their way into the conversation as well. Wasn't all great. There's some figures I was shaking my head going, how did you guys botch it? But it was a good live stream. Excited about most of it. Let's take a look at my favorites and those not so great reveals as well right now. What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles, welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Figure Files. Happy Thursday. One more day till the weekend. AJ and Claudio really did it right. I love watching these guys on the live stream because I feel like they're like me, running around, not quite having everything totally professional, which makes them more endearing to me because I'm right there with you guys. Sometimes I'm hitting tabs, going backwards, forwards, have no idea what's going on. And I love the fact that today they were decked out fully prepared and ready to hype up Superman. Love that. Ajax, Rex, Claudio's dressed up as Clint Kent, and they showed a ton of really cool Superman gear products. I'm kind of wondering this Fortress of Solitude you see to the left with the multiverse figures is something they can go and release for sale because that looks pretty cool. Looks like it make for a really great display, not just for these figures, but any kind of Superman collection figures you have set up. But there's a lot of stuff, and like I said, I need to watch the movie before I decide I'm going to buy all these Superman movie figures. I might not like the movie, but they did have some stuff that was really interesting, and it's a ton of stuff to break down. First up, they had some more reveals for the Superpowers line. These are going to be exclusive to McFarlane Toy Shop, so prepare for the how much is shipping sticker shock when you go to check it out. But there are some really good figures on that end too. First up, Animal Man, and they made sure to mention he comes with his iconic coat, which is very ironic because the original multiverse figure did not come with said ionic, ionic or ironic, iconic jacket. So ironically, this figure gets a better take than the multiverse one. And I still like that multiverse figure, but I definitely felt like, oh man, if only he had his jacket, that'd have been the perfect Animal Man figure. So this one has it, and I think this head sculpt looks really good, and it's a really strong superpowers figure. Next up, get my windows all working properly. Here is Cyborg, and I think they did a great job here with Cyborg. He looks really, really good. I like this happy, smiling head sculpt. I think they did a nice job on the hair. And shout out to all the detail they did on his outfit. This is Cyborg that I want to get for the multiverse lines. I'm kind of feeling a little bit of Star Wars Black Series vintage collection because sometimes the vintage collection has something really great that we have to wait years or never to get in the Black Series. And then vintage collectors say, hey, you Black Series fans are really eating well here because we still don't have this look in the vintage collection. But this is definitely the Cyborg I want to see, especially after seeing a couple of the reveals for the multiverse line, which I'll break down later on. And Cyborg has really great detail. Here's the back. They didn't skimp on anything. They didn't say, hey, let's just leave it up to the paint job. They sculpted it all. This is really what I want. I mean, really, just do this figure in 7-inch scale, and I will be really, really happy. And this guy can be one of my favorite figures too. So we'll see. But for Superpower fans, really great job on this one. Next up on that front, Dead Man. I feel like he's one of those simple characters, but you kind of want to have him if you've got a large or medium-sized DC collection. He's so easy, and you don't really need him for anything, but he's just a cool looking figure. And I think they did a nice job with the superpowers version of him as well. Then we move it on to a character apparently I forgot to put into my slideshow. No worries. I actually did save this. This is why I made sure to say, hey, I understand AJ and Claudio's pain. It's Nightwing. And again, solid job here. And because he doesn't have the super articulation, they can have the perfect lineup with the yellow wing section there. I don't know if we've ever had any firm description of what that is, but that's really well done here. And you don't get the break because you've got that rotator cuff articulation point messing up the line work. So this really looks good. And I like the fact that Nightwing has a smile on his face. That's kind of how you think of the character, especially in this era, in this disco suit costume, which is still my favorite look for Nightwing. I just think it looks really great. Probably because George Perez drew it to introduce it. And basically, George Perez can do no wrong with me as an artist. So, very good job here capturing that look. Then we move on to the larger scale stuff that I was really excited about. Now, this one's pretty cool. This is a rendition cover reenactment of Kingdom Come #4. And I was so happy that I actually remembered this is issue 4 and not messing that one up. And this is pretty cool. It's got the smoldering backdrop, and then you see some red smoke trails that you actually place on Superman. And I think they did the right call, not having them obscuring his face totally like the Alex Ross cover, because this is still a figure. And you could have this like your, hey, this is Superman Kingdom Come infected by some red K or something if you wanted to pose him around. I do kind of think it would have been cooler to have the shrouded face where you don't see a whole lot of his features, just the nose, basically. That could have been cool. And maybe a little bit of the smoke trails hanging around his face too. But I think this is a really nice compromise between the figure and the cover homage there. And I love how the colors, the shading, you see all the different variations of red on this figure. Really cool, really nice. Not going to buy it, but I do think it looks cool. Next up, we get another 2-pack of Death Metal. I kind of feel like the window is closed for that because we've got so many really important characters that we need to get to still. Green Arrow, Black Canary, Big Barda, Hawkman, Hawk Girl, Hawk Woman, classic looks, not cobbled together. Hey, here's our Platinum Edition version. So we got the Merciless. Merciless looks great. And I mean, this awesome detailing. I feel like if you wanted this figure, if he's on discount, he'd make for a really awesome Wonder Woman villain where he's got the logo and he's got the cool design. It's like, all right, put him against your Wonder Woman figure. She looks cool and she battle against him because we don't have a lot of Wonder Woman villains. And that's something else we need to get to before this line is done as well. Next up in the 2-pack with him is the Batman Who Laughs, a character who I liked at first. And I felt like DC just kind of went too far and overexposing him and then overpowering him and just like, okay, we get it. He's unstoppable. So here we go with this look. A little bit of Pennywise influence on this one. Nice looking figure. I would definitely take a look at this if it's on discount, more so for the Merciless and not so much for the Batman Who Laughs. I got that original one they did, and I'm pretty satisfied with them. This one, I think, still has like a sculpted cloth cape, sculpted plastic cape. So no real incentive. Let me see if this other figure picture shows. Yeah, it looks like it's sculpted. So there's not that, oh man, I got to get it for that. So I don't know. But I definitely think Merciless looks cool, but it's definitely going to be a figure that I would grab when it's on a deep discount. Now we move on to other figures that I'm actually pretty excited about. The Page Punchers line. Now I mentioned how excited they were to tell us Animal Man had his jacket. So you see this Superboy who looks awesome. And this is pretty true because sometimes he's not wearing his jacket, but he doesn't have the jacket, which would have really put this figure over the top. We have some really great Superman, Return of Superman figures. I've got one that I still need to open up in my collection. This guy right here, Cyborg Superman, we have the Eradicator and we need a better version of Steel. So we've got this Superboy who would fit in perfectly with these guys. And for, the big showdown, he is not wearing that jacket, but it would have been really great. Really put him over the top to get him with that. So nicely done. I like the head sculpt. He looks great, but man, missed opportunity not having that jacket on there. Next up, we have another one that we knew was coming, was Wonder Woman from her debut, Wonder Woman #1. And I really like how this figure turned out. I'm curious if she's based on that same model as the original Wonder Woman we got, the original comic book version that we were clamoring for so long, or if it's a slightly smaller mold. I am for sure going to use this Wonder Woman as my JSA early days the secretary for the Justice Society. But I think this is working really well with the Earth 2 Batman. Then we've got the one I call that the Earth 2 one, but that's the one, the Golden Age one that comes with Ace the Bat Hound. So got them. And I think we've got a Superman that works in there pretty well too. So we can have the Trinity hanging out with the Justice Society as well. Nicely done. No complaints with this Wonder Woman. I mean, could her skirt have been soft goods? Maybe, but I think that this works out just fine. So again, no complaints there. Next up was a surprise. Steve Trevor. And there was another figure that I kind of thought was going to be part of this Page Punchers wave. I guess we'll see him later. Steve Trevor was a character that somehow had managed to escape and avoid all the leaked lists. And so this was a really cool surprise. And if it weren't for the 7-inch scale, I think he would work perfect for any figure line you have, because this is the multiverse line is 7-inch scale. He's not going to be as versatile as he could have been if the scale was 6 inches, but whatever. I mean, not going back to that old argument again, but this is a nice figure. And I think McFarlane's done a pretty good job of giving us characters that complement our heroes. So we have a Commissioner Gordon who looks really good. Now we've got a Steve Trevor. I like that jaw. He looks like a classic military hero. And I'm kind of trying to figure out, maybe my more military accurate friends can tell me, would this work still for like a modern day Steve Trevor? I know he's not necessarily secret agent version here, but I think this could work. So even though we've got our golden age Wonder Woman, here's a look at her, the backside, so you can see how her classic outfit looks. But would this Steve Trevor actually work for like this can flow with any era, with any time frame of Steve Trevor in the history of Wonder Woman? But I really appreciate the fact that we got him into the line. That's really cool. And is this the first old school Steve Trevor figure we've gotten in this kind of scale before? Maybe Mego did one at the heyday of the TV show, but really cool. And I like the fact that they included him. So that's it for the Page Punchers. Now, the real kind of surprise for me here was we saw Superboy, we saw Wonder Woman together. They were paired with a third one in part of the WonderCon reveals, and that was with this guy, Mr. Bones. Now, of course, that doesn't mean he's done. We're not going to see him. He got swapped out by Steve Trevor, but it's really interesting that we didn't see him. I was fully expecting to see him along with these three. So we'll see if we do get a Mr. Bones later on. He's definitely sharing a cape with another figure that they showed off today. But I will see. Got to keep our eye on that to see if we're actually going to get this Mr. Bones figure. I thought he was really cool. And they've been adding a lot of these Infinity Inc. characters. So I thought he would have made sense to add to the line. We'll keep an eye out to see if we'll see him later on. Then we move on to the DC digital phase of things. And this is an interesting Batman reveal. This is based off of his appearance in No Man's Land. I think if for whatever reason you missed out on the Nightfall Batman, this is a really great other option for you. Of course, he doesn't have the capsule style utility belt. This is more pouches. But one thing he definitely has over the Nightfall Batman, he's got a nice darker shade of gray, and he's got a soft goods cape. That was one thing that was lacking with the Nightfall Batman. So it's got that wire deal. You can pose him. So I feel like I'm going to double dip and get this one. And as much as I thought the Nightfall one is the end all be all version, I really do like this one. And the cape does add a whole lot to, well, maybe this one might be a little bit better for me. And I like the slightly darker shade of gray too. I do wonder if I can take that utility belt though and swap it, because I feel like that's the only thing holding this back from being for sure the best version of Batman. And I definitely want to compare the head sculpts too. So, but I really like how this figure turned out. And let me see if I decided to put a few more pictures in there with him. Let me do this real fast because he does look cool. Here's another look at that cape. So you can see it's the big Y one. I think this is more of the one that we got with the Adam West Batman, but you can see it's got the points on it. So that's really nice too. Love that. Here's another look at that attire. This looks, I mean, this is a nice looking figure. And I'm kind of going like, yeah, he's going to get added to the collection. And I'll just have yet another Batman added to the mix. Next up was Monarch. Here he goes. I think they did a really great job on this figure. We never got him from DC Classics from Mattel. I feel like we did get one from DC Direct. but this one really looks good. Kind of makes me wish, as I'm looking at this design, that McFarlane did tackle an old school original look for the Anti Monitor when they were doing Crisis figures. I think that would have been really great to get him in the mix with this look. But I think they did a really nice job with Monarch. Take a look at the boots. The colors really do pop. This blue, the gray, and the yellow, the gold, really, really well done. And I was not expecting to be so excited seeing this Monarch figure. I thought they could do a good job with them, but I mean, who was asking, clamoring for a Monarch figure? But they really knocked him out. So good job, McFarlane team, on that. Next up, this guy. And I am so impressed. Like, whoa, stop the presses. We could have another contender for the best McFarlane figure. It's Nightwing. And not only Nightwing, it's Disco Nightwing, but boy, I mean, he looks like George Perez drew him. They even colored the mask up. So we got some shading, a little bit of black, a little bit of blue here. He's smiling, the hair sculpt, perfect. This is a really well done figure. I mean, we saw this in the renders when they were showing off the WonderCon figures. I'm like, oh, this looks like it'll be a really good Nightwing figure. Here's what he looked like. So yeah, good stuff. But man, I don't really think that we fully got justice how great this figure was. And as I'm raving about this Nightwing, I realized I forgot to show you all another one from this wave. And it's kind of anticlimactic now, but here's more shots of Nightwing. And I thought he was using the Blue Beetle mold, but you can see he's got different boots. So we don't have to worry about that annoying issue. Of course, we do have this deal with the rotator cuff section that is breaking up that yellow. So this is going to look a little unsightly. I don't know what they could have done here outside of just figuring out a different way to engineer that paint job, but I'm pretty happy and satisfied in all regards that matter because I think this one really, really looks good. And they just really knocked it out. And I'm really impressed with this figure. And I want all new Teen Titans now to pair up with this guy because he looks amazing. And I want a Wonder Girl. I want a Cyborg, like I already mentioned. I want a Starfire. I want Wonder Girl, Raven, a better Kid Flash. Throw in a Aqualad, a Roy Harper, Speedy to go along with this, Anna Jericho. I want the whole crew. Throw in Tara too, because this figure looks amazing. And he should have his whole team around him. That's how good he looks. So excellent, excellent work there. Really, really impressed. Let me see here if I did still have that picture of the other figure in this joint, or if I just totally stepped over. Yeah, it looks like I totally forgot her, but here we go. That's why I keep that window open. We're also getting, as you saw in the image, a Stephanie Brown, and this is her based on her Batgirl look. Not my favorite look for spoiler, and I really would have loved that. But I mean, it's not a terrible figure. I think we're seeing a lot of reuse. I can just do a quick pivot on the old shelf here. And it looks like she's sharing a lot of pieces with the Huntress figure. Looks like those gloves for sure. So you can get a basic idea of her scale. Not a real issue because I think that figure is really well done. And not my favorite look for her, but I don't know how many other versions of Stephanie we're gonna get in this line. So I'm happy to get her. Just wish they had gone with a different route for her look there. Next, I would keep this train rolling with this guy, Mr. Miracle. Fantastic work. Again, y'all started with these wired soft goods capes. Let's keep it going. Let's keep that same energy throughout for the rest of the line now. He's definitely a character that I think would have benefited from that because you can get that really cool posing, give him his disc. And I didn't see that in anything, but they weren't showing all the accessories. But I hope they include that with him, but he looks really good, and it doesn't look like he's using that awful speeding bullets mold. You note the lack of that paneling on his arms. Can't quite make out where the images here if they are here with the legs, but at least the arms are new, and he looks really good. I do wish that they had done maybe the cape flare up here prevented them from doing that, and I think this is an exact use of the one that they already did with Alan Scott, Green Lantern. So maybe that's what kind of influenced them there. And of course, I wanted Alan Scott to have that posable wired cape as well. But I wondered the flare does kind of prevent that from working and making that as easy to pull off as I think it would be. Then we get another one. Mr. Miracle's a Target exclusive. Here's the other one, Sandman for sure. A discounted. Wait till he's $5 because this is my biggest disappointment of many reveals from McFarlane. I really was like, oh man. And it sucks because I really was excited when they showed, hey, we're gonna get an Hour Man and we're gonna get Sandman. It's two of the major founding members of the Justice Society, and both of them are mediocre. Our Man just reused the Spectre figure, who might get a better figure later on. Sandman just needs a drastic overhaul. I think he's using the mostly using the Alfred sculpt from Batman versus Superman Dawn of Justice, and then they throw in a trench coat. This seems like a different one. I don't think this is the same one they used with Commissioner Gordon, but the head sculpt looks a little off. Not the mask part. I think that looks good, but his neck looks kind of short, and it just looks like he is literally a mask on a peg. If you can kind of get a sense here from here, the close up, it is like the dude has the mask. It's just a mask and a hat. I mean, how small is his head if he's got this going here? It's just, I don't know. Overall, really disappointing because I really like Wesley Dodds and I thought he is such a cool character. And there are different ways they could have gone with him. And I really would have preferred them to just go with basically this look with the cape because that's what set him apart from all the other heroes. It's a dude wearing a gas mask, a coat, and a suit and a cape. And I just thought that was a really cool look. But if that was too hard, if it was like, we can't make this look work, he has a purple and yellow outfit that I would have been like, okay, what a weird choice, but I'm okay with it. That's canon. That works. But yeah, this one just, boy, I'm gonna need to take a look at some customizers fix up for this because this was such a really disappointing reveal, and just hopefully I can figure out a way to make that make sense and work out better because I'm not feeling this one at all. Then more multiverse figures. It's Azrael. This is a wide release one, and his Nightfall Night Quest look. I really don't remember this look at all, and I kind of feel like I should, but I feel like there was more red like around here and not this black. But here you go. If you missed out on that really awesome one, here's another crack at it for you. But I don't know. This doesn't do a whole lot for me. Here's what it looks like on the rear. It's just a repaint of that awesome one with the more, I don't say more comic accurate because I just really don't remember if he ever used this exact look. But if you like a red and gold and black, sweet looking attire, just not something I'm really invested in or care about. Then we also got more Batman figures. Shocker. This Batwing 2.0. We got a figure before David Nazavi. Nazambi. I think that's how you say his last name. And this is using that same mold right down to everything except for the head sculpt. That's changed. The bat wings are still similar. This is Luke Fox. And that run of Batwing was really good. I enjoyed both characters. And I just felt like David got kind of shafted because it was like, oh, there you go. We're going to switch you out with Luke Fox, who we're making into the DC New 52, our version of Tony Stark. But the black does look cool. It's a very nice looking outfit, costume. I mean, it's a sharp looking deal, and I think they did a great job with it. So, gonna grab him for sure, no doubt about that. I like Luke and can have both Batwing figures hanging out together on my shelf. And here's what that previous Batwing looked like. So you can see it is that exact figure, just with a few changes there. So, I mean, nothing to hate on with that. Makes sense. And there you go. Then we got Batman Troika. And I don't know about this figure. I was really hoping that this would be one that I could use to replace my Justice League, the JLA version, but I'm not feeling this one as a good replacement because there's too many things that to me are off. This really looks like a Kelly Jones inspired look, but I kept looking around trying to find this exact match. And for Troika, I found stuff more like this, which isn't quite reflected with this figure. Here's another image of Troika for you. And it's blue. I'm sure we'll see a platinum version of it, but it's just, I'm not seeing this. You can see Kelly Jones, one of the pencilers for this story, or this arc. So clearly its influence is in the mix there, but it's just, I don't know about this figure. And I know we've got so many Batman figures, they can go off with all kinds of variants, but this one just leaves me kind of cold. Not feeling this one at all. But I'm sure somebody else out there will love it. So there you go. More power to you. More DC collector edition figures. This is, of course, that $30 or in some cases $37 price point. We got Beast Boy. I was very disappointed when they showed him in the black and purple because I'm like, we still need Changeling in his red and white to go along with our new Teen Titans. This head sculpt's a little bit more animated, a little bit more fun than the previous one, but it's still, I don't know why we have both versions of him in black and purple. That make any sense to me. Now we got a cool snake, we've got a squirrel, gerbil. I don't know what this is. Pizza slice. The guys did mention he has another animal form. It's probably not going to be an elephant or a tiger, but we'll see. Again, maybe this is an instance where we'll get that platinum edition. I'm sorry, I said we got him before in the purple and black. That was the DC Classics one. The original one, we do have him in the red and white. I just wish we had a head sculpt that matched up with the new Teen Titans look for him. But there you go. So I beat you all to correcting me on this video, finally, for a change. But here you go with this. We got that look, and I still wish we had a changeling head sculpt. Maybe that's something they can throw in with the platinum version. We'll see. Next up, this guy. I'm really excited about him. Now, he was listed as a red platinum edition, so hopefully he's going to be easy to find. The guys did mention on the live stream that he is part of a general release, so maybe he won't be so challenging to track down. But Mirror Master looks awesome. I love this head sculpt. He has a full-on snarl, sneer going, and I feel like that's perfect for him. One thing that's not perfect, though, the use of this speeding bullets buck again, so you can see the grooves and the paneling. And again, this is something I'm not going to miss when McFarlane loses the license. Using bad bucks for figures, where if you just created one plain one, you wouldn't have to reuse this bad one over and over again. I don't think the speeding bullets was so important that it needed everything so accurate when this is going to be the mold choice for so many characters that don't need it. But in all other regards, I really love how this Mirror Master turned out. This head sculpt is perfect. And the colors, dead on. That orange and green could be a tricky combination, but I think they did a great job with it. And because he's not using real guns, they can throw these in there. So I really dig that. Great job. Please give us more rogues. Then we got Metron. This figure, I think, is another one that's a big time home run, and he fits in his chair, his Morbius chair. Great job on that. And pretty solid stuff. I mean, we got a really good one from DC Classics. Wasn't he the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive way back when Mattel was cranking out these figures? This looks really good. And I think this is a figure where you can see that collector edition price point and go, sure, that's worth it. Some of these other ones, not so much, but here it is, totally justified in this case, and really happy to see this figure looking so good. They really knocked him out. I thought, like, wow, really impressive here. Let's take a look at some more images of him because it was just like, wow, okay, good stuff with the Metron figure McFarlane toy crew. And here he is out of the chair. Nothing that flashy, but there's nothing that flashy to this character. So that makes sense. Maybe they could have done something a little bit more dramatic with his eyes, but I mean, that seems like a weird complaint. Just complain and complain at that point. But really nicely done all around with him. I'm happy with him, but not as happy as I was with this next guy, who is certainly going to be in the running for one of my favorite figures of the year, as he is anytime when he's in this outfit. Deathstroke the Terminator, baby. Wow. Look at how great this figure looks. And I'm sure there's some details that as I look later on, I'll go, why didn't they include this? But in my initial glance at the prototype, wow, this figure looks awesome. And much like Deadshot, this shrouded helmet mask looks amazing. It just gives an air of mystery. What's going on in there? And I think they pulled that off really, really well. Here's another side view of him. So I mean, just the shot out eye. Good stuff. He's got a gun. I wonder if this comes out of the holster and how they managed to get away with putting a gun with this figure. But really good. I really want to see what other kinds of accessories he comes with. He needs that staff. He needs a sword as well. But I mean, that shouldn't be impossible to ask for with a collector edition figure. Hopefully, we'll also get an alternate head where we can have that really sweet goatee and see his patch. That'd be great. Hopefully, we'll get that included with this figure. But yeah, all that detail. And it looks like they might have, and it's hard to see, of course, because either these are just those big render deals. But I'm wondering if we can see the scaling. Did they actually do the chainmail for that outfit there? I mean, it looks like they got the other details dead on. So I'm hoping that's the case, but this figure looks awesome. Really nicely done. That DC Icons Deathstroke is one of my favorite figures in my collection, and this one really does a great job too. So I really am impressed with this. I hope he turns out just that nice in hand and isn't impossible to track down. But really strong showing from McFarlane Toys. And they promised us come the next live stream where they're going to be doing it in July. Can you believe it? We're going to be in the next half of 2025. They're going to have a slew of stuff. They're going to be doing their show live from San Diego. And they keep promising so much more, so many more reveals. And looking at what they showed us at WonderCon, Mr. Bones is like the only figure now that we haven't seen. So everything else, the deck is completely clear of figures that we were promised that they showed off back in WonderCon. So it's a whole other second half of the year. Cannot wait to see what they show. Hopefully, plenty of new Teen Titans. Finish off the Justice League. Give us that Green Arrow, Black Canary. Give us a Big Barda. We got an awesome looking Mr. Miracle. More Justice Society characters. More bad guys. Keep it rolling. But I'm really excited. Let me know what you thought about these reveals. What else you want to see from McFarlane in the second half of the year. And again, thank you so much for watching. This episode of Lyles Figure Files has been filed.